Episode 6. Test Subject. Elliebell.
Dad!
Start if you're ready.
Yeah, no worries.
All right. So yeah, do you want to introduce yourself to the people watching?
Yeah, I'm Elliebell. I'm 17. I make music and I post on the internet.
Sounds about right. Okay. And where are you from, by the way?
I'm from New York, but ever since I was like 11, I've lived in Northern Virginia, DMV area.
Got you. Okay. I think I've been to Virginia like once. I haven't been out of state ever, but the one time I did go out of state was in Virginia, but didn't do anything crazy or anything. So how and when did you start making music?
I've played guitar since I was like 6. I kind of come from like a musical background, you could say, I guess, but when I was like 13, I was in like COVID and I started making like Rip Squad type beats on FL Studio and then it kind of I was just like a hobby thing, I guess, but it was all I really wanted to do for a while. And then I got confident enough to try and do like some sort of style. And honestly, we're kind of right away, I just started working on that first album when I was like 14, and that's out there now.
Okay.
I finished it when I was 15, I think. Yeah, but
Got you. No, yeah, okay. So that was Epiphany's Tour Through was like your first. That's pretty fat. So you started making music, and then like, what, like a year or two in, that's when you released an album.
I guess like a year and a half. Yeah,
That's
I think
crazy.
so.
That's crazy.
It was
That's
a weird process to make. I was kind of like, I would go through sporadic periods of like making whole songs, or then I would like not make anything for 2 months finished. But
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really impressive. Yeah, it's been I think it's been like 2 years since Epiphany's Tour Through now. So I wanted to ask. I think that's right.
yeah, that is right. That's just crazy. She's
okay.
old now. She's
Yeah.
almost 2.
I know it didn't. It's kind of flown by because I remember. I think I discovered it right around when it came out, and but yeah. So yeah, I was wondering like, what are your thoughts? How have your thoughts kind of changed about the album now, like looking back?
I guess it's all like a perspective shift because making it was very like, I mean, it's all very vulnerable stuff for me, I guess. And I had like my own interests creatively and things I was like really obsessed with at the time. And like, I had my own standards for what I thought were good and like what I identified with what I wanted to make were different. And like, I would do so much different if I made that again. And like, I had like the sort of embarrassing feelings that people usually have to stuff they made when they were younger, but I think ultimately I just like see a younger version of myself in it, and I think it would be like unhealthy to dislike it per se, and I love it for its own merits in a new way now.
Okay, yeah, understandable. I was kind of expecting you to like maybe hate it, but it seems like you have a more like conscious.
Because I've definitely had to like resist hating it, but I think if you let yourself get into that, you're kind of gonna habitually hate everything you make. I think like the same train of thought that drives like that can like drive like not making anything because you just don't like whatever you put out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But moving on, like Moth is the latest project, and it's kind of like it's a mixtape, and it has a lot of like soft, emotional, trap music, but a lot of like Midwest emo influence in it, and which I just want to say like I can't think of any other artist that's really doing that. So that sound appeals to me a lot, even if it's just like a mixtape. So yeah, I wanted to ask like, how did the mixtape come together, and when did you decide to officially compile the songs into a mixtape? Because I know that some of them came out as singles beforehand.
So I've been making music like that as like kind of like my like fun stuff for a while, because I guess for context, the like album I've been working on for a couple of years is very much in like a full on like folk electronic or whatever, like very big songs still, but I think it was around my birthday, which is like late October, like a couple months ago or whenever, but I started like realizing I needed to make something smaller that I was like still proud of because I hadn't been getting anything done for like a year. So I like kind of grabbed a bunch of old beats I made from that and then started making new ones in the same vein, and it all just came together very naturally. I think it took like a month and a half to make, and it was all just very, very fun. And yeah, I guess I kind of just like recycled old stuff, you could say, or like put it into the context of something new.
Got you. I even though it is like, I guess you could say, kind of like a fun project, not as meant to be as like deep or like challenging, um I feel like it really does fit into the idea of like moths, because it has like themes of like fragility and like decay. And I also really like the vocal mixing on a lot of them, even though it's kind of like differs from song to song. The kind of like raw sound that you can hear on some of the tracks is really pleasant.
I'm glad. Yeah, I like so I for context also, when I started making this, I switched to Ableton because I got like a new laptop, and it's kind of I didn't really know why I wanted to, but it's like prettier, I guess. It's not really that different, but I like have all new like vocal chains and stuff like that. So it's funny that you mentioned you can hear differences in some of them, because some of them were like just mixed with like different stuff. But yeah, I'm speaking to like the themes of it, I guess it kind of came intuitively, but mentally I catalog it as like an album about I guess like, well, I was really drawn to the idea of like moths chasing lights, and like it's like misidentifying it as the moon or whatever, and I was like interested in that and like ideas of like blind faith and like dependence on stuff that isn't healthy, and just generally like, you know, like you said, like fragility and like relying on things that you shouldn't rely on, and that's kind of all of it in that album, and I kind of kept writing in that place for that little period.
Yeah, I think that's really sick. It's a really sick concept to me. Yeah, no, I was picking up some of that, some of those ideas that you just said, but I wasn't sure. Yeah. So yeah, there has been a clear progression with your sound from Epiphany's tour through up to Moth. How would you say that your personal life has like changed since then, and how does that like reflect in the music?
I guess what I would say is like a lot of the like core personal events I was like dealing with or speaking to on my first album, I'm like much further from now, and a lot of what I'm dealing with right now is like, or like what I'm interested in terms of writing and like expressing is like much more removed from direct incidents and more about like rumination and patterns of thought and like um I don't know, I guess just like looser concepts like that. And I just have I don't know, it's a lot more a mixed bag, I would say. It's harder to identify specific things I'm specifically writing about from like my personal experience right now.
Got you. Now, the other day, I randomly, because I've been trying to get more into like movies recently. So I randomly just watched this film, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and like 15 to 30 minutes in, I heard like the guitar riff, this part of like the original soundtrack, and I was like, I immediately knew that it was like that was from an elliebell song. So like I dug through, and it, you know, it was like from Class of '05 or whatever. And that was actually when I decided to message you to do the interview, because I was at the time I was thinking of like who I want to interview. So it was kind of cool how it played out in that way. But I wanted to ask, like, what are your thoughts? I'm assuming that you've seen that movie. What are your thoughts on the film? And why did you use that sample in that song?
I think it's a beautiful movie. It's one of my favorites. I mean, visually it just like aligns with all of my tastes, but like I love Charlie Kaufman, and I think it's a beautiful message on like living for present experiences and like accepting impermanence as a necessary part of like worthwhile things. But I sampled it, I guess, just because like I was kind of obsessed with that song, and I think I was like, oh, this would work well as a beat, and then I made it, and I rapped over it or like sung over it. But yeah, I also accidentally, there's like the last song on that soundtrack is called like Elephant Parade, or like one of the songs off it, and I like totally accidentally just rewrote that riff for a song that isn't out right now. But I thought that was also funny. I just think
That is
like
crazy.
The music. Who's the guy who did that? Hold on. I guess it's like a. It's some composer. He did like Lady Bird too.
Yeah,
But
no, I
his,
remember
like,
looking him up. I can't think of his name off the top of my head though.
I just think his like melodic touches or like whatever tonal stuff he was doing on that soundtrack like aligns with what I find myself drawn to, I guess.
And I think that same guy did because
He did Punch Drunk Love. I know that, and like a bunch of other shit.
yeah, and did he do Synecdoche in New York?
I know that's a Charlie Kaufman movie. I don't know if he did the soundtrack for that, but that's another 2 thumbs up movie. Love that one.
Yeah. But yeah, on the note of movies, I've noticed you use a lot of dialogue samples from movies in your music. So I was wondering if movies are something that you derive a lot of your inspiration from.
For sure. I mean, my like biggest inspiration in all things is David Lynch. Rest in peace. I have a Mulholland Drive poster right there. Twin Peaks right there. I got like Twin Peaks VHS over there. I'm a big fan. But generally, yeah, and I've been really into like sampling dialogue clips like that. I can't really verbalize exactly why, but I'm into like mixtape charm is on my mind a lot right now, and I think like there's like transitional little moments and like I just think sampling's so cool too, and like they're all just like scenes I really love from movies I love generally. Like there's on like Never Found Them off the new tape. There's Paris, Texas by Wim Wenders, I think. It's like a French name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a very, very good movie. Anyway, like what you asked, I think it's just like an expression thing, I guess. It's kind of like scrapbooking things that I like into my songs, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, honestly, I know David Lynch died, but to be honest, I have no idea who he is. But wait, was he like a movie director or like screenwriter or something?
He was like a director, and one of I mean my favorite of all time. He like defined a style of movie making, and they're just all very humanistic and empathetic and very special. You should watch some David Lynch if you want.
Yeah, no, I'll check that out for sure because I'm still trying to figure out like what movies I want to watch. But moving away from that, all of your songs so far have been completely solo, like solo produced, solo mixed, solo everything. So I was wondering, would you ever be open to collaborating with other artists?
For sure. I really enjoy doing stuff for other people in their projects. I'm like hyper personal about my own like projects just because that's how it works in my brain. But like people can offer a lot that I don't know how to do. Like and especially for I should mention this, for my album that'll come out eventually, hopefully this year, but I don't really know. I have my good friend Aiden, who's so amazing at this, mastering it, and it's such a relief to not have to like, or to get like someone else's ears on like the final file of everything. So I guess I'm moving into my own ways of collaborating with people to make stuff happen, and I would almost say sampling is part of that for me right now, because I have like the thing coming out in like tomorrow night actually has a ton of samples on it, and that was almost collaborative in a sense for me, because it's like rather than writing everything myself, you get to like appraise elements of something else and like put it in a different context.
Yeah.
It's all just like different ways to do stuff, and I've been trying to be more open about exploring that and not just like being rigid.
Right. It's funny that you mentioned that you're working on an album, because that's kind of something that I was going to ask next. So like for future plans, so you plan on releasing an album sometime? Well, I guess when doesn't matter, but you're working on something?
Yeah, I've had this like big idea, or like it's kind of shifted, but like it's remained pretty true to vision the whole time. I have a thing I'm working on, and it's just been like I wanted it to be good, and I didn't really know, like I guess I like lost sight. No, I don't know how to put this, but I got like stuck up in the weeds of making it. So I had to take a break and like do other stuff, but I'm still hoping I can like pull it together and put out something I'm really proud of soon. And I'm proud of everything I put out, I think. But yeah, it's gonna be cool, I think, to transition back into working on something big like that soon, with hopefully a more healthy mindset about it.
Yeah, well, I'll be looking forward to that for sure. And if you're comfortable with sharing, like, what kind of sounds should we expect from your future releases?
I very much am comfortable sharing that. I mean, I don't know if I'll stop doing the like tape stuff because it's very fun, and I have like Evergreen comes out Valentine's Day, and that's like it's similar to Moth. It's very like sample heavy, but for the album stuff, it's like I guess the core of it for me is like folk songs. There's a lot of acoustic guitar and like naturalistic sounding stuff, and I'm pretty obsessed with texture and all of that. But there's like I'm also very inspired by if you know like very like early ambient electronic stuff, like your Aphex Twins and like Boards of Canada. That's kind of in there a lot. It's yeah, that's kind of the core things I would say. It's like quieter and slower, I think, and more like I said, organic.
Got you. Okay.
That's not a very
Interesting.
concrete explanation. I'm sorry.
Well, it's good enough. Yeah. I haven't listened to much Aphex Twin, but I know a little bit. And I can kind of pick up what you're putting down, I think.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you mentioned you switched to Ableton because that was actually a question I was gonna ask, like what DAW you use. So I guess you used FL Studio before.
Yeah, for like up until a few months ago. And then I got a new laptop and I can talk about cracking, I guess. They didn't have a crack for the most normal version, like the most recent version of FL on Mac, so I just got the other one and I learned it. And I'd been thinking about it for a while just because there were some tools there that I really liked. And generally they're kind of the same thing. I picked up the workflow really fast and then, yeah, it's what I use now.
Interesting. I didn't expect that. Um, I don't know why I didn't expect that, but um, would you ever perform live?
I would really love to. I'm in my senior year of high school right now, and like I'm getting my driver's license. But like next year, I'm like gonna be in Richmond for college, so maybe things will come up, like opportunities to perform will happen there, and I would really love to. I'm like nervous about it, but very excited.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what are you going to college to study for?
Um, Nothing musical, honestly. I'm majoring in philosophy for now. I just like
Interesting.
academically, I like to write and like read and do like humanities in general. But it's kind of like a not time kill, but it gives me a period of 4 years to like keep making music and not have to make a living wage off it for a little while, which is also nice.
Yeah, understandable. I know that I'm assuming you know the band Brave Little Abacus, right?
Oh, that's my favorite band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. One of my favorites. Probably my favorite, honestly. But yeah, I know that their lead singer, I'm pretty sure he majored in like philosophy and I don't know, English or something. And you could see it like bleed through the music, and it really made it so much better because he could express ideas in a way where that I feel like you wouldn't be able to otherwise.
Yeah,
So
his songwriting is like kind of like it's like a Bible to me, if that
yeah.
especially with Epiphanies, like I was only listening to Mass Dancers for like my first 2 years of high school. That album is so important to me. And I
Mhm.
think he's a fantastic writer. And I try to be, I guess literary is like talking it up too much, but I try to have those sensibilities with what I write and be like vivid with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really important, and it adds a whole new layer to the music. And yeah, I remember Mass Dancers is my favorite album from them. Um, I don't know why, but I just remember reading lyrics off of it, and like I've never read a lyric off a song before and wanted to cry the way I did when reading those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, whoa, this is actually kind of short. Wait, how long has it been?
I have no idea. Wait, I guess like 25 minutes? I don't know.
Okay, if it's 25, that might be okay. Um, because I'm out of questions. Wait, maybe I can cook something.
All right, I'll give
Um,
you time.
okay, hold on. No, I don't have anything. So I guess we're wrapping it up here. Is there anything that you'd like to say to the people listening before we end?
Um, uh, be kind to people around you, be kind to yourself. Try to take it easy if you can. Yeah. It
Word.
gets rough out there. Keep it good. I don't know.
Yeah. Good advice. Good advice. Thank you so much for the interview. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you do in the future, and yeah, maybe in the future we can do another interview. We'll see. Yeah, thank you so
let me know.
much.
I hope I did okay. Thank you.
Imaginary with a 1.